The moment the judge read out the bank transfers on the courtroom screen, my husband collapsed into his chair, because the money he stole from me was now the evidence that destroyed him. My name is Alyssa. I'm 34 years old, and until 2 years ago, I believed I had built the perfect American life. We lived in Austin, Texas, a quiet neighborhood with clean sidewalks, new families, and homes that all looked like promises. I worked as a senior project coordinator for a real estate firm. I was careful, organized. I saved every bonus, every tax return, every extra dollar. My husband, Mark, was charming in public and distant at home. He ran a private investment consultancy, which sounded impressive enough that no one asked questions, including me. I trusted him. I trusted him with my heart. I trusted him with my future. And eventually, I trusted him with my money. When my mother passed away, she left me $420,000, her entire life savings. She worked 2 jobs most of her life. That money wasn't just cash. It was a sacrifice. It was love. Mark hugged me at the funeral and whispered, "Your mom would want us to grow this." I believed him. At first it was subtle. Mark suggested we move the inheritance into a joint investment account for tax efficiency. He handled the paperwork. I didn't even see the forms. I was grieving. I was exhausted. Then came the changes. He stopped coming home on time. He guarded his phone. He stopped asking how my day was. One night, I overheard him on a call in the garage. "She doesn't know. Not yet." My stomach dropped. Weeks later, I logged into the investment account for the first time. The balance was $73,000. I refreshed the page. Again. Hundreds of thousands were gone. When I confronted him, he didn't panic. He smiled. He said, "Markets fluctuate. Don't be dramatic." That night, I cried on the bathroom floor so quietly I bit my arm to stop the sound. 2 days later, I found hotel receipts in his jacket pocket. And a woman tagged him on Instagram, wearing the watch I bought him, with the caption, "Building an empire together." That empire was built on my mother's bones. I didn't scream. I didn't confront the woman. I didn't pack my bags. I got smart. I took screenshots of everything: bank transfers, email confirmations, deleted files recovered from the cloud. I hired a forensic accountant using my emergency fund. That's when the truth came out. Mark wasn't investing my money. He was funneling it into shell accounts, funding his affair, and running a fake investment scheme using my inheritance as seed money. And the best part? He used his real name. The accountant looked at me and said, "If you're quiet for just a little longer, this becomes criminal." So I stayed quiet. I let him underestimate me. I let him think I was broken. That night, after he fell asleep beside me like nothing had happened, I stared at the ceiling until my eyes burned. I kept replaying my mother's voice in my head. "Be careful who you trust, Alyssa." I had failed her. That realization hit harder than the betrayal itself. At 3:17 a.m., I finally broke. I went into the laundry room, sat on the cold tile floor, and pressed my fist against my mouth so the sound wouldn't escape. My whole body shook. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. For a moment, I honestly considered walking away from everything. Leaving the money, the marriage, the life I thought I had. Because fighting back felt impossible. He was smarter than me. More confident. More connected. Or so he thought. The next morning, I called in sick to work for the first time in 6 years. I didn't rest. I researched. I learned how financial fraud works. I learned how paper trails never really disappear. I learned how men like Mark rely on one thing more than money: arrogance. That arrogance made him sloppy. He reused passwords. He left digital fingerprints. He bragged in emails. I opened a private cloud folder and started labeling files like evidence exhibits. Every transfer. Every receipt. Every message that mentioned numbers instead of feelings. The more I uncovered, the calmer I became. Pain turned into focus. One afternoon, while he was showering, his phone lit up on the nightstand. A message preview popped up from her. Did she sign the new authorization yet? My hands stopped shaking. Because that was it. That single sentence proved intent. I took a photo. Then another. Then one more for safety. That night at dinner, he smiled at me and said, "I'm thinking we should expand our investments soon." I nodded. I even smiled back. That was the moment I knew he had already lost. From then on, I played my role perfectly. I asked innocent questions. I acted confused. I let him explain things slowly, condescendingly. And every explanation gave me another thread to pull. A week later, I met with a lawyer during my lunch break. I slid a flash drive across the table. She didn't interrupt me once while reviewing it. When she finally looked up, her voice was steady. "If you stay quiet and let this continue just a little longer," she said, "this stops being a civil issue." That word echoed in my mind. Criminal. I walked out of that office knowing one thing for sure. I wasn't going to expose him in anger. I was going to let him expose himself, publicly, legally, and permanently. The confrontation didn't happen at home. It happened at a real estate investor networking event. Packed, public, expensive. Mark was mid-presentation, bragging about ethical growth strategies, when federal agents walked in. The projector screen behind him changed. My bank transfers. His shell accounts. His mistress's expenses. The room went silent. Mark turned around slowly and saw me standing by the exit. Come, still. Watching. That moment, his face drained, mouth open, legs shaking, was the exact moment my mother got justice. He was escorted out in handcuffs. Phones were raised. Whispers spread. His empire collapsed in real time. Mark was convicted of fraud and financial abuse. The woman disappeared. I got most of the money back through asset seizure. But the real victory? The silence in my home now feels peaceful. I learned that revenge doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's patient, calculated, and legal. I didn't destroy him. He did that himself. All I did was stop protecting the lie.
Before you go, I just want to say thank you for spending your time with this story and being part of this journey. If this video moved you, taught you something, or made you feel less alone, please like the video and share it with someone who might need to hear it today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Revenge Uncut. We're working hard to reach our first 1,000 subscribers, and your support truly means everything to us. Every single subscription helps this channel grow and allows us to keep bringing you real, emotional, and powerful stories like this one. Most importantly, leave a comment below. Tell us what you felt, what stood out to you, or what this story meant to you. We genuinely read every single comment, and your words inspire us more than you know. Thank you for being here, thank you for your support, and thank you for being part of the Revenge Uncut family.